early because I think we have a lot of ideas to talk about and things to share this morning. My name is Leslie Watson, and I serve on the board of the Eastside Food Co-op. And I'm also I'm serve on the Northeast Network Committee. And I'd like to start this morning by just going around the room for a quick round of introductions. A little later, we'll have a chance to talk more specifically with our retail business owners about what you do and things like that. But if you just go around, give your name and your organization and your place in it, that would be great. Well, thank you everyone so much for being here this morning. I hope you find some value in our discussions. Normally, the co-op does not try to take any kind of center stage in these networks. This is really about information sharing and learning, but this is a topic that is particularly near and dear to our hearts, so I hope you will indulge us for just a few minutes as I climb on the local business soapbox. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think it's really helpful because for the co-op, it's really part of our mission to support local business as a local business, to support our local community in multiple ways, and then, of course, to support and sustain the local food distribution system. So we really track information closely about how we're doing, how we're faring in being a good local business and supporting that. So it's something that's part of our mission statement. It's something that our manager tracks carefully and reports back to our board on. So I can actually attach numbers to what we do and how well we succeed in that area. And just to backtrack, a figure that's kind of commonly thrown out is that for every dollar that you spend in an independently owned business, 68 cents stays in your community. For every dollar that you spend in a national chain, 43 cents comes back to your community as you spend on the internet is basically nothing. I don't really know where those figures come from, and I think it must vary very widely according to your business. The grocery store is probably a little different, but it's kind of a good maybe framework to just think about it. That when you spend locally, quite a bit more of it stays in your local community. Here in the co-op, we project that we're going to have about $5 million in sales this year. We're going to get that close. And of that, about $3 million is our cost of goods sold, so the money that we spend to buy stuff to sell. We currently sell about 30% of our products are local within our geographic area, which means about $1 million of that $5 million is spent with local food producers in our growing region. About $1 million of that $5 million is labor costs. We have around 50 employees, give or take, and most of them, of course, live in Minneapolis, a large majority in Northeast. We strive very hard to pay a living wage and benefits to as many as we can. And, of course, those folks have some of the same values that the co-op does, so they probably, I'm assuming, tend to spend their money locally and also, of course, pay their mortgages and their rents and everything else. Our mortgages are held by Northeast Bank, a locally owned bank that has been an incredible partner for us and has supported us through our lean times and now as we achieve better success. So those mortgage payments go to that local bank every month. We also owe about $500,000 to the neighborhoods, to 5 neighborhood associations who vote us NRP money to open our store, and we are paying that off very slowly with interest. And as that money is paid off, it actually goes back to those neighborhoods so they can use it again to fund new economic development and businesses in their community. So that's a really great way to feel we spend about $35,000 every year in building services of various kinds, janitorial and cleaning, all of it with local companies. About $15,000 in advertising, all of it with local advertisers, primarily with locally owned publications. We contribute about $7,500 every year directly to the community in form of donations and non-member discounts. We recently installed a $165,000 solar panel system. It's right up above you. It went in last week. Not yet operational, but it's going to go live soon. Most of that was paid for with grants and a federal grant and rebates, but some of our own money went in, and of course it was installed by a local business owner, Sundial Solar. We print our newsletter with a local printer, our insurance agent is local, and our accounting and tax preparation are all by locally owned companies. So if you spend $1 at our co-op, you know that a little bit of it's going to go to an artisan cheesemaker in Wisconsin, or an apple grower in Minnesota, or a baker right here in town. You know that a little bit of it is going to go to pay our excellent, highly qualified, friendly, capable, amazing staff. You know that a little bit of it is going to go to local merchants and service providers to keep our store running. A little bit will go to the community in the form of donations. A little will go to service our debt with the community bank and back into our neighborhoods. And when eventually we are sufficiently profitable and we're getting close, someday we are going to probably pay some form of dividends to our 3,000 plus member owners. The vast majority of whom live in 55413, 55418, and 55421. They're not far-flung investors in New York or Asia or some anonymous mutual fund, the owners that live right here in our neighborhood, and knowing them and knowing us and knowing that the values of this store reflect their values, I suspect that some of those dividends will be spent right here at the store, and some of them will be spent at the businesses owned by the people in this room. So I think it's just a really, whopping big impact for $1 when you think about it, and it really brings home how important it is. I'm not against chain stores. I shop at them, and they provide important goods and services, and they employ people, and that's great. But I think we go to those places as consumers, and when we really mindfully shop locally, we do that as members of this community who are really making a commitment to building some vitality of the home that we all share. So now I'm going to soapbox. Thank you very much. And then I would like to turn it over to another local business owner, Catherine Hayes, who's the owner of the Acre Fish and Chips, which is a real success story, open now about 1 year? 13 months, yeah. And they engaged in a really successful marketing and startup campaign. And that's what you're going to talk about. I think a little bit about that and maybe some general ideas for small business owners. So, Catherine.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Ginny and the Co-op for asking me to speak today. I'm absolutely delighted to do so. I'll just give you a quick background about myself and where I come from. I was born in Ireland, so I moved to France and worked for a travel company where I did some guiding and some trip planning for a biking and walking company, one of the biggest sort of high-end luxury companies around in North America, and so I got a great exposure to the American clientele at that time, and then I got into some marketing with that company. So I got a great sense of what people want in general. I think from an American point of view, and I did that for quite some time, and then I moved to New York, and I worked for an Irish company, a non-profit government agency. In a marketing role, I was doing promotions and publicity and print and online, and I had a massive budget, which I didn't even know what to do with. It was fantastic, and I was spending somebody else's money all the time. It was really a lot of fun, and I did that very successfully. I think for 5 years, and really enjoyed it. We got to travel around the States, and I learned a lot. I got to go home to Ireland a lot. It was a wonderful job. So then I moved to Minneapolis, where my heart's been here for the last 10 years. Or 13 years, I should say, and I thought I'd open up my own business, and okay, so here I am, not a lot of money, with two fantastic partners with a great concept. I'm like, how do we do this? How do we market? With all my experience, like, how do you do that? And we'd never owned a business before, any of us, but we all had some experience in that realm. So it just basically we kind of had some basic market elements of business and marketing that were in place before we said we'd go ahead and do this, and we had a really good concept with the fish and chips concept. It's something I always felt like was lacking in Minneapolis and in America. No offense to America, but I didn't find any good fish and chips all the way around America in all my travels. And one of our partners had experience and had made fish and chips in Ireland for an experiential trip, and my other partner, Jenny, who's here, had been to Ireland 100 times and felt the same way. And so anyways, we had the concept. We thought it was fantastic. We all lived in northeast Minneapolis, absolutely loved the neighborhood. So we thought it's great location, great respect, and a great knowledge, which, these are all basic points for me that are, not highfalutin marketing terms, but great respect and a great knowledge of the neighborhood, of who's coming and going. And over the 10 or 13 years that I'd been here, I had seen that, and I was like, okay, I could totally see this working. And then we had the great location concept. I had my eye on, Lucille's on 13th Avenue for a long time for other ideas, but then it became open for rent, and the idea came about. I thought, okay, let's look at that. Fantastic location, and a great building with car parking, and it's good access from the main highways and things like that. So I thought that was fantastic. So we thought and we also had a good story. Luke and myself are from Ireland, so we're emotionally connected to the concept. Jenny has been connected with Ireland, as I said. I've been there so many times. So I felt like we had this, good story for people to believe in, what we were doing. We're just coming in to open up any old thing. It really meant something to us. So we're like, okay, let's do it. And so we didn't have very much money. So that, it's great to have all these ideas and you don't have much money. So I thought, okay, how do you do this and how do you market something like this? And I love the term guerrilla marketing. It's kind of a cheap way to say of marketing something with no money, basically, but you have to be very, very creative about it. And so we did a very creative and simple, simple plan put together with no money. Maybe, I can't even tell you how much money we spend on our marketing, but we used our connections, which helped a lot to help us, build our brand and our image, which, fish and chips, like people say brand, and it's really, really important. It's like, are we going to be some sort of, fancy fish and chipper, or are we going to be a small little dive, or what are we going to be? So we're like, okay, this is what our image is going to be. It's going to be very, very simple, to the point, black and white, to show you from our literature, or from our marketing piece. That's us, that's our menu. And we thought, that's us, Jenny, Luke, and I. We're like very simple, very black and white, very to the point. And so it was very much connected to us as well. So we built our logo, and Ginny helped us start our logo. Do you remember Ginny? And again, it's a very simple logo, the anchor, and that we had a tattoo artist create that for us. So it was very emotional. Everything we did was very, very personal, very emotional. I had this created, and our image, and our little tagline is "The real deal fish and chips, locally owned and operated." No other wording, just very plain and simple, and I think very honest and to the point. And all of that's very relevant to our product as well, all that imagery. And we thought we'll do our fish and chips, that's our product. And we'll do some other things that are typical to Ireland and very honest and nothing off the point. So anyways, we built our logo, we built our website, again with some help from friends. And really, I thought our website was fantastic. And as we built it, we were building out our restaurant. So we built our website, I would say, 10 months in advance of opening. And we put our photos and our story online, and people were looking in and seeing the build out. We took photos every day of all the sweat and blood that Jenny, Luke, and I, and lots of other people put into the place. And then our marketing pieces, I showed you that. And then we started a Facebook. And again, these are no-brainer ideas, but they're all very important and they're all very basic. We started our Facebook, and before we opened, we had 1,200 fans, which I think is fantastic. And they were creating a lot of hype because we were slow to open our business because of lots of different reasons. But there was a lot of hype created and a lot of chatter, and that was really huge and quite viral, I think. That so many people knew about the anchor before it even opened. That was just on that small kind of online level. We created these beer giveaway cards, and I'm sure everybody's done that for their business. And I found these very effective. Free beer, and we had put our name on it. We made it our business card. And we handed out thousands of those across town to, what I like the word, it's a very marketing term, and I don't use a lot of marketing terms, but it's to influencers are really key. People who will speak to people and then they'll make a difference in speaking to people. They'll affect their movement, and they'll say, yeah, there's this great place, this great store over in Northeast, or this great co-op, or this great fish and chips. And I think those people are really great to contact, and Luke and Jenny and I had access to that from our experience of being here and just our lifestyles, I guess, and some connections that we had. So we spread those around. We gave them to local businesses, taxi drivers, stuff like that. Just very, very small sort of outlets. And then we started sponsoring some events with our Anchor Dollars, which another little small branding thing we created. So we do these in $5 and $10 increments. These are our gift certificates. We thought that was quite fun. Again, the anchor everywhere, and our name and our logo and stuff like that. We gave those to a lot of local charities, like the zoo was holding a charity, or there's some local charities here, or some golfing events. We sort of went towards the suburb reach a little bit, which was a good idea because we concentrated a lot in the local neighbourhood, but we also had to be smart and think we could get a sort of a bigger reach. Again, on a very small scale. And then we created some merchandise, some mugs and some T-shirts and tattoos, again with our logo all over in our image and our little messaging. And then we had our takeaway business, which is really we call it takeaway in Ireland. Something we wanted to be quite a big part of our business. We created that menu for that, very simple. It's exactly what you'd see at home in Ireland.